African Cup of Nations 2023, played in 2024, is finally over. And congratulations to Ivory Coast, who won the tournament. Nobody gave them a chance when they lost against Nigeria and they lost also against Equatorial Guinea. They depended on Morocco to help them qualify for the next round. So they have to send some flowers to Morocco for helping them out. In this video, I am going to give you my 5 things I learned from this African Cup of Nations. Number 1, Africa deserves respect. If you look at the organization of this AFCON, amazing. Amazing stadiums, amazing pitches, amazing fans, amazing VAR, amazing officials. I didn't see many scandals because what we see on TV is always Africa this, Africa that. The pitches are bad, blah, 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 blah. But this time around, nobody can complain about the organization. So congratulations to Ivory Coast for organizing an amazing tournament. Second thing I learned from the AFCON 2023, never give up in life. I'm going to give you a few examples of that. Sebastian Haller, the guy was struggling and fighting with cancer a few years ago. And today, he won the African Cup of Nations with his country, the Ivory Coast. Emilio Ntsu, Equatorial Guinea captain. Wow, what a story. 35 years old. He plays in the 3rd division in Spain as a defender, and he plays for his country as an attacker. And he finished Golden Boot in this AFCON. What a story. Never give up in life. Good things will happen to you if you believe. The third thing that I learned from this African Cup of Nations, they are not small countries in terms of football anymore in Africa. We saw countries like Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, South Africa, Congo. A lot of them made it to the next stage of the competition, and the so-called big nations of football didn't make it. That tells you the level of football in Africa is going up and up. Special mention to Gambia. Gambia, they deserve a lot of flowers. Before even the competition started, they had some issues flying to Ivory Coast. They almost died. Lack of oxygen. The airplane apparently was too small. And you know the rest. And they went to the tournament. They didn't cancel anything. They had a good tournament, in my opinion, because of the circumstances. The fourth thing that I learned from this African Cup of Nations is that Nigeria got great talent all over the world, but they don't have a great team. Bear with me here. There is a big difference between having great talent and having a great team. I think they still have time. If you look at the amount of players that didn't make it to the African Cup of Nations due to injuries, for example, you see Victor Boniface, Tayo Awoyini from Nottingham Forest missing this African Cup of Nations. You ask yourself, what if? What if they had everybody fit in this African Cup of Nations, I think it was going to be very scary. But even though they were missing some key players, I think Nigeria had more than enough quality in the team to win this African Cup of Nations. And I have to tell you right now that I was so disappointed with some players that are always rated highly. I'm going to just name one because we don't have time to discuss about every single player in the Nigerian team. Victor Osimhen, you know that he's been linked with Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, and all the big teams in Europe. I think he's going to make a great move somewhere. And apparently he's very close to joining Chelsea because of the connection from John Obi Mikel, Didier Drogba, and the rest. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. My question is, do you think that Victor Osimhen worth 130 million? Because that is his release clause. Do you think that your team, I don't know what team you support, Arsenal, Chelsea, do you think that your team should break the bank for Victor Osimhen? I was really disappointed during this AFCON. I think he had a couple assists and 1 goal. You know, he was okay. But in big tournament like this is where you wait for your big guy to do big things. Mbappe, Haaland, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, they are always there. Big event, big tournament. They show what they can do. Mbappe scoring a hat-trick in the final of the World Cup. Messi dominating and scoring goals. Cristiano Ronaldo, and so on. So you wait for somebody like Osimhen in a semi-final or a final to create magic from nowhere. I saw him bullying some people, getting the ball, passing the ball to Nouman, for example. But I don't think it was enough really to convince me that he can lead the line in the Premier League. If you look at Didier Drogba, because people like to compare Osimhen with Didier Drogba, right? Didier Drogba might flop the entire season, but when it comes to big event, big games, big goals, Wembley, Champions League finals, he is always there. I'm not really convinced that Victor Osimhen is a big game player. But you know what? I don't make decisions. If my team decides to go for Osimhen, I will welcome him and pray that he turned to be the new Drogba, because we are waiting for a savior. We are waiting for that guy that will take us to the next level. Let me know in the comment section down below if you really think that Victor Osimhen is going to be a very good player in the Premier League, or you still have some doubt like me. The fifth thing that I learned from this African Cup of Nations is the disrespect from Western countries. There are certain journalists who were asking questions like, are you happy to play in January for your country instead of playing for your club in Europe? That is so disrespectful. Sebastian Haller came out and he was so angry answering these kind of questions, because you're not going to ask any European player if they are happy to represent their countries. South American players will go for Copa America. Nobody asks any question. It's always about the AFCON. I understand that the tournament is in the middle of the season in January, and sometimes it can affect a lot of European clubs. But what I heard is that the weather is better in January. We saw what happened for the World Cup. Because it's very hot in Qatar, FIFA had to switch and play the World Cup in December, right? So if Africa temperature is too high in July or June and they want to play in January, I don't see any problem. I think people just need to respect Africa. Africa needs to do what is good for Africa and not try to accommodate and please Western countries. There are so many other points to discuss about the African Cup of Nations, but I don't want to be greedy. I want to give you an opportunity to let us know what you learned from this African Cup of Nations. The next one is going to be in Morocco, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to be very interesting. Good luck to them.